So rookie quarterback Jaxson Dart had a really rough game last weekend against a very difficult Minnesota Vikings defense. How will he respond? How will he turn things around? Because that's one of the most positive signs that you could get from an NFL rookie. Let's talk about it next on the Big Blue Breakdown live. Hi again, everybody. I'm Paul Dottino. Welcome to the Big Blue Breakdown Live. We are coming to you because of the holiday season on a special night. We usually do this program on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. But due to the holiday, not only this week, but also next week, we will be coming to you on Tuesday night. So next week will be Tuesday, December 30th, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, with our next edition of the Big Blue Breakdown Live. Now, tonight's program, we're going to go at least an hour. Again, I know I always say, well, it depends on how you guys want to interact. You can hit me up in the chat box. You can also go to the link right here across the bottom of the screen. Give me a phone call or a video call. And depending upon how you folks want to participate, we'll take this show longer than 1 hour. A lot of times we wind up going 90 minutes. Sometimes we even go an hour 45. Those marathon shows, though, of 2.5 and 3.5 hours, those are a thing of the past, okay? I just can't believe there's got to be that much to talk about with a team that is in the Giants state to put a program on the air for that long. All right, so where do the Giants stand right now? What we saw last week was a game plan designed to win. It was not a game plan designed to expose Jaxson Dart to the multitude of problems that the Minnesota Vikings defense can cause. It was clear to me from the beginning that Mike Kafka was going to do everything he could to win the game. The best way to win the game with a rookie quarterback who's going to be exposed to a complex and chaotic defense like what the Minnesota Vikings have. The best way to do that is to slow the game down into a tug of war, drag it through the mud, keep it under 20 points if you possibly can, and be within one score in the fourth quarter. And do everything you can to try to move the ball with the running game, especially knowing that the Vikings' rush defense was not particularly that good. Why would you put your rookie quarterback in a bad position? Why play into the Vikings' hands? If you were serious about winning the game, if you're serious about it, and it's obvious that the Giants are and were and continue to be, you have to come up with the best strategy that gives you the best chance to win. This was not about any one individual player on the 53-man roster. And I've seen some people out there saying, why not let Jaxson Dart throw the ball a whole bunch? Why not challenge him against the Vikings defense? Well, because to be honest, that probably would have decreased your odds of winning the game. And that's not the business that Mike Kafka is in. He has a responsibility to a 53-man roster to try to win. It's not just about developing one player. That's not his job as we sit here in the middle of December. So what did he do? He designed an offensive scheme that had a ton of double and triple tight ends, a scheme and a philosophy that called for more than 2/3 of their snaps to be running plays. And how well did it work? Well, let's see. The Giants were down by 3 points with the ball at midfield with about 4 minutes left in the game. Yeah. Yep. In position to at least tie or take the lead and possibly win. Every coach in the National Football League would sign up for that scenario. Every single one of the 32 coaches. So the philosophy and the game plan was correct. The coach gave his players the best chance they could have at squeezing through the Minnesota Vikings and winning this game. And ultimately, the players failed. Key second down pass near midfield, dropped by Darius Slayton, would have been a big first down. Unclutch, as I have talked about all season long. Third down pass, batted down at the line of scrimmage. It happens sometimes. That's just bad luck. And then fourth down, a complete breakdown in pass protection gets the quarterback sacked. And so you give up the ball with about 2 minutes to go. And now your defense goes back on the field. Now, on Sunday, this was a Giants defense that for the first time all season, and I bet most of you did not know this, it was the first time all season that the Giants defense did not give up a touchdown pass in the game. That's right. They did not give up a touchdown pass on Sunday. It was the first time they had accomplished that all season long. They held Minnesota to well under 4 yards a carry. So they were doing a pretty solid job of shoring up their run defense. And they hadn't gotten beat by a touchdown pass. So by all measures, if you will, the defense was doing its job to keep this game close, to put the rest of the team in position to win. And then what happened? With about 2 minutes left, the Vikings got the ball back, and that's where the defense failed. Unclutch. Just like Darius Slayton was unclutch in dropping that pass on the previous Giants possession, the Giants gave up 2 consecutive runs. I believe it was 3 yards and 9 yards for a first down that then allowed the Vikings to take 2 knees, drain the clock, and walk out with a 3-point victory. Once again, unclutch. The Giants defense had one more chance. One more chance. They had played pretty darn well for almost the whole game. And they just had to make one stop to get the ball back and give the offense one final legitimate opportunity to change the result of the game. And then they wound up giving up a gaping hole right up the middle for a rushing first down that ended the ball game. So I've heard a lot of people talk about, boy, that wasn't a very good game plan. Folks, could not be more wrong. It's exactly the opposite. They had a chance to pull the game out. It was a good game plan. And the defense played better. And Charlie Bullen, the defensive coordinator, now in his, I guess what is this, his third game now? Yes, it's his third game. Or his second game. No, his third game. Patriots, Commanders, Vikings. In his third game, Charlie Bullen did a number of things by mixing up different packages, different fronts. He showed that he could make a difference and get this defense to play better. Let's not forget, folks, they lost this game 16-13. They gave up 16 points. That's it. 17 first downs and 240 total yards. That's an improvement. But again, unclutch. in the final 5 minutes of a game, and the Giants lose their 9th in a row and fall to 2-13. All right, let me get that out. I just wanted to get that out of the way because there were too many people out there talking about the narrative. Well, why didn't the Giants play action more? Why didn't they throw the ball more and let Dart try to win the game on his own? Come on, people. Come on. You're smarter than that. Now, the topic of today's program is about Jaxson Dart. 7 of 13 for 33 yards. And, of course, the one interception that was tipped off of the hands of Theo Johnson. Theo Johnson has to really get his act together because he is becoming a serious dropsy problem. You know, it was one of the reasons why, you'll recall, many people turned on Evan Ingram. Quality athlete, quality teammate, had the ability to make some plays, win some mismatches, but drops, easy drops, turned people against Evan Ingram. And Theo Johnson is trending strongly in that direction right now. He's got to do better. Now, he did give up half a sack on Sunday, which was the first sack that on my film work, that I have held him responsible for all season. So that's a positive sign. But 2 more drops by Johnson are not a positive sign. You can't do that to your quarterback. I have the Giants officially, well, not officially, unofficially, because it's my tape review. I'm a very harsh critic. And when I look at the tape, I've had many coaches over the years school me on how to do it. I have the Giants for 34 drops this year. Theo Johnson and Wan'Dale Robinson lead the way with 8 apiece. Darius Slayton has 6. 34 drops for the Giants this season. Yep. Very, very difficult to swallow. But it is what it is. All right. To go back to Dart, which is the primary focus of tonight's program. Jaxson Dart on the year, and I want to make sure I got these numbers right, so I'm going to take a glance here at my notes. The Giants have allowed 42 sacks this season. 29 of those sacks have been on Jaxson Dart. Okay? We know that because Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson have also played and been part of that sack parade. But here is one of the things that Jaxson Dart has to fix as he matures and grows into a veteran NFL quarterback. I have Jaxson Dart responsible for 15 of those sacks because he stepped up into one, he held the ball too long, he scrambled into one, he tripped and fell down and got charged or allowed the defense to get credit for a sack. A variety of reasons. But see, when the quarterback has enough time to reasonably throw the ball and get rid of it and avoid the sack, even if it's simply a throwaway and an incompletion, and he decides not to do it, whether or not he's thinking about taking off or running, whether or not he's waiting for somebody to get open, those things don't matter. If he held the ball longer than was necessary to get rid of it and avoid the sack, and then get sacked, it gets charged to him, not to the offensive lineman, not to the tight end, and not to the running back. So Jaxson Dart is responsible for more sacks this season than any other Giants player. 15 by my film study. 3 of the 5 sacks that the Minnesota Vikings had on Sunday, I charged to Jaxson Dart. And that is a season high. He had on several occasions been responsible for 2 sacks. He was responsible for 3 in this game by my video review. So, how does Jaxson Dart respond? How does he bounce back against the Las Vegas Raiders? Well, this is a growing process. Throughout the course of the year, what you want to do is see him take fewer of these sacks. Now, we're not going to hammer him for the interception because Theo Johnson's the one who popped the ball up and got it picked off. We all know, those of us who've watched football a long time, that it's a shame when quarterbacks get hit with an interception that was clearly the receiver's fault. So I won't even go there. The fact that Dart now has 1 interception in back-to-back games, that's not relevant. I'm not going there. I know it hurts his quarterback rating for those of you who pay attention to that stupid stat. I don't give a horse's butt. Now, here's the thing. The Giants knew that Dart was going to have limited opportunities to throw the ball in this game because of their game plan and their strategy to squeeze out a tug-of-war victory. So, even if the Giants had won the game and Dart had thrown 2 or 3 more completions on the final game-winning drive, his numbers still would have been very, very weak. See, even in a good game and a winning performance and a game-winning drive, he might have only thrown for 100 yards. The point is, the way this game plan was constructed, this game was going to be won by the running game, specifically the offensive line, grinding out holes for the running game, by the special teams, which they expected would do a solid job, even though they had a new rookie kicker in Ben Sauls, and by a rush defense, and a pass defense that they thought could handle the Minnesota Vikings attack. Whether it was getting after their suspect and injured offensive line in the passing game, or the improvement in the run game that Charlie Bullen has been trying to tweak and achieve. Those were the reasons why the Giants were going to win this game. Not because Jaxson Dart was going to throw for 3 touchdowns, 275 yards, and complete 22 passes. No, that was never going to be the case based on the game plan that the Giants put into play on Sunday. So I just want to make that clear. So yes, it was Dart's most difficult performance of the season. Nobody is denying that. Nobody. It was an ugly performance. In some ways reminded me of what the Baltimore Ravens defense did to Eli Manning in 2004 when Eli was a rookie. And he went up against the most complex, most aggressive defense in the league down in Baltimore, and the Ravens ate him for lunch. And the Giants got hammered. That game wasn't close. They got hammered. This game was close enough that the Giants nearly won the game. So that's where it stands. Now, Giants will go up against the Las Vegas Raiders team, and I'll give you a few numbers here. 25th in the NFL, allowing 26 points a game on defense. They are tied for 21st in terms of allowing first downs by the opponent, which indicates the kind of sustained drives that the team has. They are dead last in the NFL in defending third down percentage at 49%. 15th in total yards per game, 17th in yards rushing, 17th in yards passing. Now, they have allowed at least 40 points in a game twice. They have allowed at least 30 points in a game 5 times, besides the two 40-point games. So that would be 7 if you want to combine the 30s and the 40s. 30 or 40 points in a game 7 times this year. This is a very challenged football team. They've allowed opponents to run for a total of 19 touchdowns on the ground, which is the 3rd highest total in the National Football League. So yes, there are a lot of things to be done against this defense. They only have 27 sacks. That ranks 26th in the NFL. And yes, like the Giants, they're -5 in takeover ratio, or turnover ratio, if you will. What are the 2 good things that the Raiders defense brings to the table? Besides Max Crosby, who is just an individual player and a stud. Big Max Crosby fan, always was since he came into the league. The Raiders are allowing 3.8 yards a carry, which is 4th best defensive ranking in the league. That is true. And it is true that opponents have only 39 pass plays of 20 or more yards against the Raiders. That's the 3rd fewest in the NFL. So they're not giving up a lot of bombs. No. What teams are doing, they are methodically grinding themselves down the field, specifically with the short pass and the medium range pass. And then when they get deep into the red zone, they pound it in. They sustain drives. In particular, as we look at this defense, yes, Max Crosby, 10 sacks, 11th ranked in the NFL, 28 tackles for a loss, that's 2nd in the league. He's a dynamite player. And you certainly want to make sure that you keep an eye on him. Crosby lines up at the left defensive end position, which means Jermaine Illuminor is the guy who draws that assignment. Now, Devin White, their middle linebacker, who is 2nd in the NFL with 160 total tackles. Yes, he's got a bunch of tackles. Big number. But as we know, big tackle numbers don't necessarily mean effectiveness. And the problem is that he has an awful lot of trouble in coverage. And running backs can isolate on him and cause him tremendous headaches. According to Sports Radar, teams have completed 48 passes on 59 targets for 403 yards against Devin White. That's an 81% completion percentage. It's only gone for 1 touchdown, though, and he has knocked down only 2 passes on 59 attempts. So, yes. Does White get a lot of tackles? He does. But again, tackle numbers can be inflated when the rest of your defense doesn't make a whole lot of them and leaves them to you to clean them up. So that's what we're talking about right now in terms of this is a defense that Jaxson Dart should be able to. If we are correct in thinking that he didn't panic against Minnesota, he was just overwhelmed because it was a very big spot for him with a very complex, chaotic, aggressive defense, which sent 5, 6, and 7-man pressure packages against him virtually all day long. But again, the Giants were trying to win the game, so they went run heavy and did not really put the ball in his hand, did not really ask him to light it up. That doesn't change the fact that he still had the toughest day of his season. It doesn't change it. But I think people need to understand that their expectations going in, based on the game plan, were probably far too high. Having said all of that, against this Raiders defense, Jaxson Dart needs to, I'm going to use a golf term, and you guys know I don't play golf, but I'm going to use a golf term. He needs to at least shoot par. He should come out there and have one of your typical Jaxson Dart games, one of those games that he had earlier in the season when he didn't make mistakes, threw the ball accurately, threw a touchdown pass or two, didn't turn the ball over, and led the Giants to score a minimum of 20 points. I'd probably say, since the Raiders are giving up an average of 26 a game, yeah, how about that? How about Jaxson Dart go out there and lead the Giants to at least 24 points? If he does that, stays clean, and the Giants win the game, then he has done exactly what you would expect a promising rookie quarterback to do. He will have taken that step, coming back from a very rough and difficult game, under difficult circumstances, gone on the road and performed at a winning level and restored a lot of the luster to his uniform. That's what I'm looking for this week from Jaxson Dart. He is fully capable of doing it, and I think the Giants need to see that to feel better about the situation. Should Dart have a terrible game against Las Vegas, well, that would be a blemish. Because coming off of his worst game of the season, if he plays poorly in the follow-up against a team that is not very intimidating defensively, well, now you have to say, uh-oh, he's not as far along as we think. Gotta go back and kind of reset just a little bit, which, of course, he would have a chance to do in the season finale against the Dallas Cowboys. But I suspect that Dart's going to avoid a reset, and I suspect that he will have a good game that will show a lot of positives and make people feel really good about him once again. I suspect that's what he will do. And that's what, again, that's what is expected of him. That's what it is needed of him. He needs to look like the good Jaxson Dart, the legitimate blue chip prospect that the Giants believe they have on their roster. All right, that's the main focus of tonight. I also want to congratulate outside linebacker Brian Burns, 15 sacks. It is a career high. It also ranks him second in the National Football League. And yes, he did indeed get enough support where he is going to start for the NFC in the Pro Bowl competition. The only Giant to make it to the Pro Bowl this year. Understood. I get it. When you have a 2-win team, there's going to be a lot of slanted votes against your guys. Andrew Thomas, by far, also deserves that. Who knows if he'll get in as an injury replacement, but if he doesn't, I hope that the All-Pro voters will give enough consideration to Andrew Thomas, and at the very least, he gets on the second-team All-Pro squad at the end of the season. That's my hope. Whether or not he makes the Pro Bowl, whatever. he needs to be at least second team All-Pro. At least. We will see. Personally, I believe Trent Williams of the 49ers, who made the NFC All-Pro team, I believe somebody told me he's been charged with 4 sacks this season. I don't know how he makes it on the Pro Bowl team over Andrew Thomas, but he did. I know. The Niners are double-digit winners. We all know how this works. The winning teams get more votes. Fine. Whatever. It is what it is. All right. That's it for now. Let me go over to your chats. Folks, if you want to make a phone call or a video call, please do. Very much would love to talk to you. And Aiden Fink is first up and says, good evening, Paul. Happy holidays, and thanks for still putting on a show this week. I've enjoyed the new callers the past few weeks. Absolutely, Aiden. That's the key. We want as much interaction as we can. The show is here for you guys. Believe me, I know I could talk Giants 25 hours a day, 8 days a week. I know I could do that. But what good is it to do that if you guys aren't out there wanting to be part of it? I do this program for you guys. Honestly, I do. So thank you so much for tuning in. And once again, thanks to everyone who decides that they want to participate. Scott Young, 1669. Good evening, Paul. Merry Christmas to you and your family. Maybe you'll get lucky and get a call from Wilson tonight. No, I don't think Wilson wants any part of me anymore. Not after I put him on the spot today, earlier in the Big Blue Kickoff Live program, and simply asked him to answer a simple question. He wanted to pontificate about his evaluation of Jaxson Dart and his potential with the Giants. And in making that evaluation, he claimed to be a longtime football guy who knows a lot about the game. So just to put into perspective and to have a foundation for his comments on Dart, all I did was ask him if he could tell me how he thought and what he thought and how did he evaluate Eli Manning's rookie season in 2024 when Eli was absolutely horrible. Horrible. And I mean capital H, horrible. Until the regular season finale that year when he was outstanding, just like that. A switch flicked, and Eli called an audible at the end of the Cowboys game and handed off to Tiki Barber for a touchdown. And the Giants won. John Mara, the Giants co-owner, has said multiple times in public that he knew, watching that Dallas Cowboys game, that's the game that told him Eli Manning was their franchise quarterback. Now remember, they were 5-4 that year, and then Kurt Warner was benched by head coach Tom Coughlin for Eli Manning, who proceeded to lose every single game the rest of the way and looked really bad doing it. Until that Dallas finale when he was outstanding. Poised, mature, a winner in every way, and stole that game from the Cowboys with his smarts and his poise. That was the game that told John Mara, yes, we have our franchise quarterback. So I thought it was important if someone wants to evaluate Jaxson Dart based on what they've seen through his first, 9 or 10 starts now in the league as a rookie? I thought it was important to find out, if someone wants to make that evaluation, what were they thinking at the time as they watched Eli Manning go through a mudslide? And of course, I got no response. I got no answer. I got an answer of just trying to basically hammer Jaxson Dart without showing any context, without showing any proof of an evaluation process or procedure, because all I wanted to do was know, show me how you evaluated Eli that year so that at least we have a base and we can give you some credibility as to what you think you're seeing. And of course, no answer came, because those people who want to rip are going to rip, no matter what the facts are, no matter what the context is, no matter what logic tells you to do, no matter what rational thought tells you to do. Those who want to rip will rip with a wide paintbrush and not give two hoots about anything else. They will be like a bull in a china shop and just run 100 miles an hour and smash everything in their way because they need to rip. So, Scott, I don't know if anybody really wanted to know of that earlier phone call that came in today on the Big Blue Kickoff Live show, but you kind of prompted me to have to explain it. Otherwise, people would not have understood your comment. There you have it. And I tell people on this program, if you have something to complain about, okay, but now show me why. Have rational thought about how you think it can get better. And we'll talk about it. We don't have to agree. Opinions don't have to be the same, but facts do. Facts do. And if you're going to forecast something, well, then you have to put a frame of reference in play, and you have to put it into context so that we understand how you were able to formulate the basis that you were working from as you made your evaluation. It's really just that simple. Like I say, you got to come with the goods. You got to come with the facts on this program. Any program that I do, you've got to come with the goods and the facts, because I'm not going to deal with the rest of it. Jared Brown, 3289. If Dart plays subpar against the Raiders, which is the worst team in the league, how drastically would you change your view of him? Just one of my fears going into this game. Jared, it's a problem if he doesn't play well. It's not doomsday. Don't overreact. It's not doomsday. But what you want to see, and I can't stress this enough, what you want to see in development and growth from a rookie player, no matter what position that he is taking on the field, you want to see how they react to adversity. You want to see how they deal with failure. You want to see how resilient are they. How much do they take from a loss and learn from that loss? So there's a lot to be gained from watching this game and scrutinizing Dart carefully. If he does bounce back, as I expect that he will, it's a wonderful sign, which says that what we've thought about him all along, that he's had a more productive rookie season than one might have expected, and that there is a higher rookie upside than some might have anticipated, that puts him on that track. If he doesn't have a good game against the Raiders, it simply says, okay, he's like a lot of other rookies who couldn't quite climb out of the mud. He got caught in the quicksand, had a really bad game, and then, maybe he wasn't quite as far along as we thought he was. It doesn't mean doomsday. It doesn't mean he's not going to be a franchise quarterback. It doesn't mean he won't be great or a superstar or even a regular star. It doesn't mean that at all. One game doesn't mean anything. But what it does do, at least for the moment, it gives the arrow an opportunity to point in one direction or another. It doesn't define his future. It just tells you where he's at right now. And Jared also says, have a Merry Christmas. And guys, to all of you, I didn't do this earlier. I came right out and I wanted to get the theme of the program up top. Yes, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy celebration for whatever it is that you folks enjoy. Because, look, I know the season's been rough. I know it's been like chewing on nails, as it has been for most of the past decade. The facts and the reality, that's what it is. I don't run from that. But I also know it doesn't do any good to keep chewing on nails and complaining about it every minute of every day. So, yes, try to enjoy your holiday as best as you can with your families, your friends, and most of all, be safe. Let's keep going. Rich Big Blue says, good evening, Paul. Merry Christmas. Enjoy Las Vegas. Looking forward to watching Max Crosby. How is the O-line looking? Well, by any stretch of the imagination, no matter which of the services you talk to, the grading services, the analytics services, I don't go there, as you know. I go by what I see. The tape doesn't lie. Believe what you see. Antrel Roll said it best. What a great philosopher he was. I know what I see. This Giants offensive line is absolutely, unequivocally in the top half of the league. How high? Do you want to say they're on the fringe of being in the top third? So instead of being maybe 16, maybe they're 10 or 11? Fine. The point is, at their very worst, they're midpoint. I think they're a little better than midpoint. They have had some inconsistencies, which is why they're not higher. And now Andrew Thomas, because of a sore hamstring that he suffered during the game against Minnesota, I do wonder about how much he may or may not play in the final two games. And we all know what a difference Andrew Thomas makes to the Giants offense when he's in the lineup. It is what it is. But Jermaine Illuminor has played well. John Michael Schmitz has had his best season yet. John Runyon's been okay. And Greg Van Roten just keeps plugging along. I would say Marcus Bowe, my guess right now, is that he's online to start at left tackle on Sunday. Now, will the Raiders move Max Crosby to the other side to face Bowe? I would think that'd be a smart move for them, because Illuminor is the more experienced guy, and Illuminor, as you also know, came from the Raiders. So he and Crosby certainly know each other well. I'm sure they practiced against each other enough. So we will see. But yes, this Giants offensive line, thanks to offensive line coach Carmen Brasillo, who has done a sensational, with a capital S, a sensational job bringing them from the depths of the basement to, at the very least, the middle of the pack. That is a huge jump. Carmen Brasillo deserves a gold star for what he has done, and Coach Ferenc, his assistant offensive line coach, also deserves the same gold star. These two guys have done a remarkable job with this O-line. I would think no matter what happens with this coaching staff next year, those would be two guys you really, really should try very, very hard to keep. James O'Keefe. NY2TC. Happy holidays, Paul and chat. Happy holidays back to you, James. Scott Young, 1669, says, I don't remember Eli. I believe it was in 2007, throwing 5 interceptions against Minnesota in a regular season game. You're talking about the Darren Sharper game. Eli likes to forget about it, and so do I. But again, that's 2007. That's not the issue. When I ask about Eli, I talk about him as a rookie. Look, if you look at the rookie performance that Jaxson Dart has put on tape, the body of work that he has put on tape, he has been the most successful Giants rookie quarterback. And I'm not talking about the one-loss record, because I don't believe in one-loss records for quarterbacks. I look at the tape. Jaxson Dart has the best rookie quarterback tape of any New York Giant since Phil Simms, who was a rookie in 1979 and won his first 4 starts with the team when Joe Pisarcik was benched, in part because of horrible play and in part because he was badly banged up. That's it. Look at all of the other rookie quarterbacks who have ever gotten into a game for the Giants since 1979. Yes, I know. Daniel Jones, he had some nice moments. But I would say if you just isolated the quarterback play on its own, I think Jaxson Dart has actually shown more flashes than even Daniel did in his rookie season. Looks like I got Harlem X here on the video call. I'm going to get to him in just a minute. I do want to just go quickly through a couple more of these as we get to him. Maverick 773 says, hey, Paul, hope all is well. Merry Christmas to you and your family. Back at you. That being said, can we sit Dart down instead of embarrassing him? He is going to hate to play for us. No. If you got a chance to talk to him, meet him, spend time with him, this kid is all in. He's a warrior. He's a competitor. He has a fire in his belly that could cook a pizza on a brick oven slate. I'm telling you, that's what Jaxson Dart is. He was down after the Patriots game, but then immediately got that fire cooking again. He got those coals burning. No, the last thing in the world you want to do now is to sit Jaxson Dart. And Mike Kafka has said he's not doing that. It's full speed ahead with Dart as his quarterback. Scott Young says, yeah, I was watching the show, Paul, when Wilson called you. God bless you, Paul, for taking the calls. It's part of what I have to do, man. That's fan interaction is what this is all about. I'm here to give you guys information and hopefully a better understanding of what you're seeing. That's the point. That's what a conduit is. That's what a media guy does. All right, we're a conduit between you and the team to hopefully allow you to digest better what it is that you're seeing and rooting for so that you can enhance your enjoyment. Maverick 73 seems like everyone who leaves us hates playing us when they leave. I don't necessarily understand that remark. And then here we go, Harlem X. Hey, Paul and everybody in the chat, best holiday wishes to everybody and all your families. And with that, I bring Harlem X onto our program as he is one of our regulars, and it is so good to see you, my friend. How you doing?
Hey, oh boy. I'm just basically moping around the house, just cleaning and stuff like that. But how y'all doing in the chat? Hey, Paul, how everybody doing? And
happy holidays, my friend.
Yeah, same to you. And everybody, don't mind the shirt. I have like these 5X big old shirts in different colors, and I sleep in these things. That's why it looks beat up. This is like my pajama top, so don't mind the shirt.
Hold on. This is not the fashion channel. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. I don't know. Okay, I know everybody. It's like heavy on the Jaxson Dart topic. I'll say this about Jaxson Dart. I'm not passing judgment on this kid yet because I mean, first, like we agree he shouldn't even be there this season, but this is his first. He's a rookie. He's learning, and I'm not passing judgment on him yet. But in my opinion, I'm not going to call him a franchise quarterback yet. Because like I said before, I'm sick and tired of New Yorkers with this spark crap. You know, this Lynn Sanity stuff. I'm sick of it. So I'm waiting. I'm going to wait. He doesn't need to be extra special. He just needs to be steady, consistent. I want to see what I'm evaluating what's going on between his ears right now. So next year, like maybe in the middle of next year, then I can say, okay, this kid got something. Right now, no. I'm not gonna DeVito this kid. No. That'd be foolish on my part. But Abdul Carter. Yeah. I don't know if you saw this. But the replay didn't do it justice. That spin move that he had.
Yes.
You were talking about that. He needs to improve his arsenal. He can have an arsenal, okay? But I'm not sure if it was the guy, one of those two. I forgot the guy's name on Indianapolis when Peyton Manning was playing. I don't know if it was Von Miller, but it was a spin move that everybody made so much of a big deal about. Abdul Carter, when he did that spin move, he can have whatever arsenal he wants. He needs to perfect that spin move because if you look at it real time, it came out of nowhere. I mean, it came out of absolutely nowhere, and I don't think anybody could have stopped him because he was in a dead sprint, and then all of a sudden he just changed on a dime and hit that spin move. That needs to be his go-to. Work on the rest of your Dwight Freeney. That's what somebody in the chat said it. Work on the rest of your...
Are you a cartoon fan at all? Did you like Looney Tunes?
Are you serious? That shaped my childhood in the 80s.
Okay, all right. Here's my comparison. The Abdul Carter spin move reminds me of the Tasmanian Devil.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely out of nowhere because something was telling me on that particular play because I'm not liking what I'm seeing from him as far as effort goes, but something was telling me to focus on him in that play. And just real time, I'm like, wait a minute. When it happened, I had to stop. They got to show that on replay. There's no way I just saw what I just saw. Because it happened so fast. Now he can polish up his game, but work on that spin move because that thing, I don't work on it. I would pull him aside in practice and we would have like extra time for him to work on the right side, the left side, and right up the middle. He's going to polish that spin move. Seriously, because he showed that could be a sign of things to come. I mean, seriously, man. But yeah.
Well, Harlem X, let me ask you this. I know you're watching carefully. Since his second transgression with the Giants' work schedule during the week, now he has played a total of 8 quarters. The last 3 against the Patriots, 4 against Washington, 4 against Minnesota. He's had a sack in each one of those games, and I think he has played his best, most consistent group of 11 quarters that he's played all season. And this comes on the heels of his second transgression. So when you're looking at a young player, I see, and I've talked to him about this. I just talked to him the other day, as a matter of fact, before this game, about his intensity, his focus. You could see, what they say sometimes, guys, they want you to take practice to the playing field. Well, I think what Abdul Carter has done, and this is my estimation based on my talk with him, I think he may not have been a good practice player, but what he did was psychologically flip the switch, and he decided that he wanted to take the game to the practice field to enhance his practice habits, which would then in turn go back to making his game better. Does that make sense to you?
It makes perfect sense, and I hope you're right because I mean, I hate doing this. I hate the whole this generation, that generation. I mean, but sometimes you don't have a choice. But I remember people like guys like Javon Curse, not Javon Curse, the
Yeah, the
defensive
freak.
lineman. Yeah,
The
the
freak.
freak. Yeah. Dude came in with like 14, 15 sacks. And it's like, not only him, but it was like a lot of guys around that time. Randy Moss. There was a lot of guys around that time period where you could, even if they were rookies, when rookies come in, no matter what sport it is, they are trying to put their, like, not necessarily their best foot forward. They're trying to kick the door in, playing on one leg if they have to, because they want you to let you know, I'm here now. I'm trying to get my mother out of the hood. I'm up here trying to put some food on the table. I'm here now. I'm going to put, and even if I have a career-ending injury, or even if I'm subpar for the rest of my career, this first year that I am here, I'm not necessarily, I don't got to be a world beater, but you are going to feel me when I'm here. Mm-hmm. I'm not seeing that with this crop of players. And I'm not talking about the Giants. I'm not seeing that with this crop of players in this that attitude that, yeah, you're going from this point forward, everybody's going to be talking about this season, because I'm going to be doing it this season. Y'all ain't drafting me. I don't care what round I get drafted in. You're going to be paying me the most money because I'm going to be busting up everybody that come in front of me this season. I'm not seeing that fire no more. It's like, I don't know where that went, but I'm not seeing that fire from this crop of players in the last 15 some odd years. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it.
Understood.
And that's bothersome, man, because now not only does it make me feel old, but it's like, yo, I'm still good on the field, man. Y'all better stop playing. Because I'm not, hey, I may be fat, I may be old and out of shape, but that's about it. I can hit the weights now. Don't play with me. Because I'm not about
Max, let me just say this. We now see Phillip Rivers coming out of a 4+ year retirement, and he's actually done a pretty good job in these last 2 games for the Colts. Now, I admire what he's been able to do. I watched the whole game last night, and I thought he played well. And against a lesser team, he might have even been able to win the game for the Colts. But I also think, as much as you want to admire his fortitude, his guts, and his ability to see the field, his ability to dissect the defense, to make the smart reads, to get rid of the ball, to know his limitations. There's a lot of plaudits you can give to Phillip Rivers. But don't you also think that to some degree it talks to the mediocrity of the NFL? He could come right off the couch at 44 years old and perform at a relatively high level?
That's exactly what that's what I'm saying. I don't see that fight. Like, there was a time in all sports where if somebody wasn't at that Tom Brady position of damn near 50 years old, you coming back, the young dudes are going, we're gonna put something on them because you acting like, because you're gonna make us look bad. You're gonna make everybody else looking like we not really all that good, or we're not putting in that effort. Or it's like you said, if it's not there, if you can do it, if you're coming back and doing it, no, we're gonna put something on you. We're gonna step it up a little bit right here to make sure that you understand that this is a different time that you're playing in. This is not no soft time that you play. Where did that go? I don't know where that went, but my goodness, man. But yeah, actually, okay. About the Giants, I wasn't all that broken up about this game. I'm probably the only one, but I was just looking at things because I'm just using these remaining games. I'm looking at what's coming up, next year and whatever year going forward. I wasn't so broken up about this game. Yeah, we lost, and I don't like losing, but I'm seeing some stuff. There's some players I would get rid of. Please don't choke me when I say this. And I know people in the chat are probably going to just light me up.
You want to roll, my man. You want to roll.
The The chat is gonna light me up for this. Please don't hate me, but I've been consistent with it, and I'm gonna die on this hill. Jalen Hyatt is a good receiver, man. It makes no sense for them to only target this dude. And I mean, the proof is I still got history on my side with this. Jalen Hyatt, you don't hear him. They target him once a game. Then they'll target him twice a game. Then they won't target him again. Okay, if he's such a bum that I keep hearing about him, he's not a receiver, he's a bum. If that's the case, then explain why is it that when Tyrod Taylor was the quarterback, Jalen Hyatt jumped off the page? Okay, it depends on who's throwing him the ball, what kind of plays are these. It's always that. You know that these same people that was calling Jalen Hyatt a bum are the same ones that has something to say about Theo Johnson, the same ones that's trying to get Wan'Dale Robinson off the team, calling his stats empty for some. That's the stupid. But yeah, oh boy. But these are the same people that's trying to just talking about how Evan Ingram, he dropped everything. He can't catch. Blah blah blah. He's a bum. He's a bum. Look at him now. Okay, look, it all depends who's throwing him the ball. Okay, Theo Johnson. Call me crazy again. We might have the best tight end in the league. We might.
Ooh. I'm going to go here. I quoted my film study before. He's got 8 drops.
I know.
I'm sorry. Sorry. That is an unacceptable number when you've only caught 45 passes on the season. I've said this before. To me, 6 drops per 100 receptions. That's where the line sits for me. Okay? He's already got 8 drops per 45 receptions this season.
Oh, no, this thing
That's not okay.
Oh, okay. No, I get it. Oh, no, I get it. I totally get it. But again, Evan Ingram had the same issue. He had the same issue.
And that's why they didn't re-sign him.
Yeah, and he went to another team and he blew up. If they let Theo Johnson go, this dude he's going to destroy this league. I'm telling you. We might, if we just can get, it's a couple hills I'm dying on this one. I'm going to die on this one. I'm telling you. Because you put Evan Ingram with the right quarterback, and not Evan Ingram, you put Theo Johnson with the right quarterback. I mean, Jaxson Dart might be the right quarterback. We'd be a fool to go away from him. But, I mean, I'm telling you, man, we got something with this receiving squad.
All right. Now, I just want to be clear here, just so we have an understanding. In Evan Ingram's 4 years with the Giants, his drop percentage was 7.3%, which is a little too high, right? It should be at 6% is about what I would tolerate. So 7.3 is a little high. In his 3 years in Jacksonville, he dropped his drop percentage to 5.2. So it was better, but he still had some. So far this year with Denver, he's caught 43 passes and dropped 8. His drop percentage is now up to 12%, which is the highest for his career. So please be very careful if you're going to try to use Evan Ingram to support your argument.
Hey, I'm going to die on this hill with Theo Johnson, man. I'm going to, because I don't think they're using him right anyway. I mean, he should be, if we got let's say if we are anywhere within the 15-yard line, like goal line, if we're on the 15 and above, seriously, I'm throwing something. There is no way he's not the main option. You can go somewhere else, but if he's not option number 1 right there on the goal line, like goal line stance, something's wrong. And I'm not.
What bothers me about him, the fact that when he got here, he looked terrific, and in training camp, Theo Johnson catches everything. And then when he gets into the games, he has, I mean, again, a drop by definition means the pass was not defended. You got 2 hands on it and it should have been caught. That's the definition of a drop for me in my film study. So technically, every drop is a relatively easy catch. But there are certainly some that look a whole lot more painful than others.
With
And
him, yeah,
he's
that I
had too
agree.
many painful drops. It's just
I
that simple.
agree. Yeah, I agree. I'm man. Honestly, if I'm drawing up the plays with Theo Johnson, he's not going any further than 7 yards. I mean, 7 yards is it for him. Then he can do like the run after the catch, but 7 yards is the best way he's running. He's
But
not
you know
going
what?
no.
He's such a matchup nightmare with his athleticism that
Yeah,
you want to be able to run him downfield more.
I want the threat to be there. I want to make people think that's what I'm doing with him. But he ain't going no further than 7 yards because that's a guaranteed first down shot. No further than 7 yards. I mean, then if you can't handle that, then yeah, you don't need to be on the team. But yeah, 7 yards and
Oh,
that's it. And I mean, if a play breaks down, then I'm gonna tell him if the play starts to break down, just go deep and I'll get it to you. But still, no, 7 yards and that's it because there is no reason why. No, I'm not gonna say there's no reason why. I want that idea in the defense's head. He might go deep on me. He's got that athleticism. There's a possibility. As long as that possibility is there, 7 yards. And that's it. Also,
yes, quickly, let me get you one more comment here because
I'm
I was
sorry.
hoping to cut off at 9 o'clock tonight, but I've
I keep
already gone
doing this.
over. I'm gonna probably have to take this now at least to 9:15 or 9:30 because I got a
Oh
lot of
man,
people in the chat. But
I'm
it's
so
always good to
sorry.
hear from you. Go
I
ahead.
keep doing this.
Fire,
Last one.
fire off one more.
That last one. This is not an attack on you personally. It's just anybody who reports from training camp and practice to the fan, anybody else. Stop getting excited about what we see in practice and in training camp because that's us playing against us. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I learned the hard way being on the team myself. We get the players get all excited. Yeah, we're gonna be doing this. And you see how fast he can run? Oh yeah, we got a quarterback. He got that. Oh yeah, my man over there can catch. Soon as we got in a game, I mean, people just melted. No, that's us against us. We know each other good. Do
I
not get
understand.
excited over that. Okay, I'm sorry I took up all your time. Keep doing this.
No,
All right, let me
it's
get out of the
great,
way.
man. Have a happy Christmas. Enjoy.
You too.
Hopefully, we get a chance to talk to you next week.
Hopefully, yeah. You too. Everybody, y'all and y'all families, happy holidays.
You the man, Harlem X. Take care. All right. One of our favorite participants on the program. And let me see if I can try to quickly get through a whole bunch of chats because while he was going through his items tonight, we had a bunch of people writing in on the chat. No other calls, but a lot of people on the chat. So we have here Scott Young, 1669. I truly love the moxie of Jaxson Dart and his leadership skills. I think this young man has a bright future with the New York Giants. Just keep building the offensive line and get some players. Maverick 73, and it seems like a lot of players hit Dart in the head. Seems to me there was a bounty on his head, literally. Oh, I don't know about that. Robert Sage, 4220, says, Merry Christmas, and back at you. Aiden Fink wants to know if Harlem X was going to call this week. He certainly did, as you now know. Maverick 73 says he grew and grew fast. The setbacks are from the upper brass feeling him too. I'm not sure exactly what that refers to. Robert Sage wants to know any word on Micah McFadden. I did see Micah McFadden walking around the facility the other day. He no longer has the boot on. He doesn't have any crutches or anything like that. He looks to be pretty mobile. I don't necessarily know if he's got a chance to play in either of the final two games. I know the Giants were targeting December for him, but we're here, and they haven't given us any update as to his practice status. So for the moment, he is still not practicing. Could we find out tomorrow he's returning to practice and may play against Dallas next week? I honestly don't know the answer to that. But I know this. He really rehabbed hard. and he's looking forward to coming back and having a good season next year. Maverick73 said he's going to hate playing here and fast. I guess he's talking about if Dart continues to get victimized by losing streaks. Aiden Fink says the thing with Dart, I think, is that teams didn't have much film on him. Now there's more film, so teams feel more prepared against him and have more to study, which is a disadvantage for the Giants. Well, that happens with any rookie. The more film they have, the more they know about him, and the more they can adjust. And then the rookie who is growing, learning, and maturing has to do adjustments himself. That's part of the natural process of the game. Maverick says, I agree, Aiden, but he plans for it, but if they plan against him, it's not working. Okay, I'm still not sure what you guys are talking about, but Aiden says, last year was worse, Paul, but we didn't have any better of a season that last year. At least Saquon isn't tearing it up again, and looks like we found our quarterback. Maverick says that young man handles the press like a vet. He's talking about Dart. Before game, he's hot. After game and their play calling, post game, he looks defeated. Well, he did after the Patriots game. Other than that, I think he's handled things extremely well. Maverick says tip passes should count as a half interception. He says Eli had so many tip passes, half of his interceptions should not count. Maverick says Hickson was the only wide receiver who could catch. Okay. Maverick says, I know, but how much can he take? I'm sure he's talking about Dart and the losing. He wishes everyone a Merry Christmas, of course. Aiden Fink also saying Merry Christmas to everybody, including Harlem X. Okay. Now, James O'Keefe says he mentions Dwight Freeney of the Colts. When he talked about Peyton Manning, a teammate of Manning's, he could have been talking about the Broncos when Von Miller was there. Yes, when Manning was on the Colts, Dwight Freeney was their key pass rusher. That is true. Aiden says he is a good wide receiver. They just don't know how to utilize him. No hate, my man. I'm not sure exactly who he's talking about. James O'Keefe says Hyatt and Theo have talent, but they are not responsible. Bellinger is not as flashy, but much more reliable than Theo. Well, in terms of drop percentage, Bellinger has been better. There's no doubt about that. And James O'Keefe is right when he says it's not just the drop percentage, it's when they occur during the game too. Big situations. Hence why I've been saying all season, the Giants are the most unclutch team that I have ever seen. James says Theo had dropsies at Penn State also. All right. Dr. Intel says Dart is not in regression. Harlem X says to Aiden, exactly, they're not using him right. In my opinion, I wouldn't look down on the guy this early. I think he's talking about Hyatt once again. Dr. Intel says, P-Dot, don't understand why the Giants are not looking at Mike McCarthy as a head coach. He's a proven winner and knows the NFC East. None of us know who the Giants are talking to or looking at. So I don't know if that comment holds any water or not. We don't know. Dr. Intel also says, do we ever think the players around Jaxson Dart is not that good? Well, again, I don't think the dropsies are doing him any favors at all, whether it's Slayton or Robinson or Theo Johnson. The dropsies are not helping his cause at all. Harlem X says to James O'Keefe, if anything, Bellinger should be an example for people who criticize Theo Johnson. He has had his issues in the beginning also. Hyatt needs more of a chance in my view. Bellinger's, I think, he did have a couple dropsies early on in his career, but he's been much more consistent than Johnson throughout. Sean Jackson, 3203, says, Harlem X, do you think the Giants should allow Hyatt to play more slot? Theo has a lot of physical potential, but needs to begin to fully play to that potential. Congrats to Burns being a Pro Bowler. Dr. Intel says, do we ever think the players around Dart are not performing up to standard? Aiden says he's talking about Hyatt. And then finally, Harlem X says to Sean Jackson, In my opinion, Hyatt might be good in the slot. That's where he played in college. Remember, at Tennessee, that's what he was. It was a big question coming into the NFL if he could adapt to being a boundary receiver. Harlem X says you can't just target the guy one time every 7 games and expect him to be productive. Well, folks, that'll do it for this edition of the Big Blue Breakdown. We actually did go an hour and 15 minutes. So I wish you all a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, happy every holiday that you might be celebrating. We'll be back next Tuesday night, again, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, with a live edition of the Big Blue Breakdown. We'll be back on Friday with a taped edition of the 3 key matchups to watch for the New York Giants in Sunday's road game against the Las Vegas Raiders. And then on Monday, we are back with our New York Giants game balls and gassers on offense, defense, and special teams. And then again, we return with a live program next Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll talk Giants football as they get ready for their season finale at home the following Sunday against the Dallas Cowboys. And as always, you can catch all of your Giants news on the New York Giants on SI YouTube channel and media network. Until next time, for the Big Blue Breakdown Live, I'm Paul Dottino. So long, everybody.